The news of the unprovoked massacre at Outpost Delta ignited a raging fury within Ross. The sight of executed survivors in the video fueled his thirst for vengeance. Beside him, Liam found no solace in his cigarette, his mind consumed with counter-strategies and the weight of lost lives. Ross wasted no time and deployed Project Hercules against the Thorn Fleet, hoping the AI fighters would swarm the skyward enemy. In the tense command room, humanity held its breath, aware that failure could spell Earth's doom. Stoic as ever, Ross stared at the blue screen, the command room illuminated by Levy AER's display of Hercules drones gliding around Thorn ships with deadly precision. Each explosion that reduced a Thorn ship to debris elicited murmurs of triumph. But Ross remained resolute, knowing that each loss for the Thorn was a step towards victory. As cheers erupted, Ross reminded everyone that the fight wasn't over yet, urging them to stay ready. Nearby, Liam tapped furiously on his keyboard, his screen displaying incoming data and new simulations. Despite the brief victory, a new alert flashed on the screen, signaling a massive Thorn fleet heading for Earth. Ross sprang into action, issuing orders for coastal evacuations and mobilizing defense leaders worldwide. With determination etched on their faces, they rallied under Ross's unified defense command. Meanwhile, Liam meticulously analyzed battle plans, searching for a weakness amidst the chaos. As the tension in the room mounted, Ross stood tall, his resolve unshakable. With silent determination, humanity prepared to face the impending clash as one unbreakable entity. Orbit stations exploded one by one, new stars flickering against the blackness of space. On Earth, screens lit up with reports of loss after loss, but Ross remained steadfast, rallying his team to keep the shields up and the guns firing. Amidst the chaos, Ross's voice cut through the static, urging unwavering determination. Liam continued to tap away, rerouting power to the shields with unwavering steadiness. Amidst rising panic, Ross monitored the hologram displaying swarms of red dots resembling hungry locusts. "Launch decoys now," he commanded, as squadrons of drones darted out, creating false targets for the enemy. Sirens blared planet-wide as seaside towns emptied, with people fleeing from the looming promise of destruction. Each blast in the orbit above spelled potential ruin below, yet the orbiting crew fought fiercely, knowing that every breath could be their last. With jaws set, Ross stood firm against annihilation, while Liam worked tirelessly to carve out survival amidst the chaos. "Status report," Ross demanded, his gaze locked on the carnage. "Shields holding at 63%, decoys working, enemy firing down 177%. Reported an officer, tension thick in the air. "Hold the line. Every second is a victory," Ross affirmed. Humanity bled in space but refused to break, channeling the full fury of the human spirit against the void. As the Thorn Fleet breached Earth's last shields in orbit, Ross felt the sting of loss. Without dwelling in sorrow, he pressed the red hammerfall button. Liam orchestrated the last stand like a maestro, his voice steady yet tense as he commanded, "Start hammerfall. All units report ready." The world paused for a heartbeat before the skies erupted in payback. Ross watched the monitor light up as the hammerfall guns reported in, filling the sky with fast rail rounds and missiles. Hidden gun platforms and silos across the planet came to life, each one a testament to human resilience. Shots soared into the sky from Beijing, Shanghai, New York, each one a resounding no to the Thorn. Streets became scarred by the craters of war, where humans fought not for ground but for tomorrow. Every fallen building, every crater, showcased their defiance. Liam stared intently at the streams of data on his flickering screen, urgently tapping the console. "Their flagship shields have a glitch, Ross. The frequency leaves a gap just big enough for a nanic pulse from Hercules." Ross stood amidst the room's blue light, casting shadows on his face. "Are you sure? Positive their loop has an error?" "Never tested the shields against our tech," he queried, grabbing his mic and pressing the button. "Hercules control command here. Execute blackout on my mark." The AI fleet swiftly received the order, with hundreds of drones breaking formation, slipping through the thin shield slice unnoticed by the Thorns focused on the main fleet. "Now, Hercules, now," Ross commanded, watching the dance between pulses and laser fire. The drones fired bursts through the gap, causing the Thorn flagship to shudder under the sudden strikes, lights flickering across its hull as circuits blew from the onslaught. "The shields were worthless," Ross observed as the crippled flagship floundered among the stars. A rare grin cracked his stoic face. "That's it, Hercules. Rain hell on Earth. Battles echoed as soldiers hunkered in cover, weapons ready, scrambling commands as the wounded mothership hesitated, presenting an opportunity for the humans. Militia and army moved as one, cutting down the dazed invaders with sharp movements. Buildings provided cover, streets funneled them into kill zones, their ferocity fueled by defending their home. Ross and Liam witnessed the alien titan unraveling through screens and reports, tracking the armada's collapse. Escape pods ejected from the bleeding flagship as the command room held its breath, eyes locked on the screen, hearts beating with the rhythm of battle. A cheer rose, born of relief, defiance, victory. The tide had turned. This was the day humanity showed its teeth, teaching the galaxy the cost of underestimating the human spirit. Turning his attention to the workers, Ross commanded, "Get me the status on our defenses now." As they typed on their keyboards to check the defense systems, Liam shook his head, delivering the grim news. "The Thorn wrecked our satellites and shield generators. How long to fix them?" Ross's voice was steel as Liam kept typing. "Weeks at least, but that's too long. I'll patch up what I can," he replied. As Ross ordered the tech teams to prioritize the shields and turrets, his hand rested on the map of Earth's defenses. Meanwhile, Liam focused on boosting the AI to react faster to the Thorn, while also working to speed up the drones. Addressing the other worlds, Ross's face appeared on screens across ruined civilizations. "This is Ross Taylor of Earth. We survived the Thorn attack, but they're regrouping. If you fought them, we need your help. Anything, info, resources." Weary alien faces nodded back on the screens, providing valuable data. On Earth, people filled the streets fixing the damage, while buildings bore battle scars. The sounds of repair brought hope, as civilians and soldiers reinforced defenses together. Humanity stood united against the common threat. In space, upgraded drones powered up, gleaming and ready to face the Thorn once more. Thanks to Liam's tweaks, he glanced at Ross with bloodshot but fierce eyes. "They're coming, but we're not the same Earth they first attacked," he stated. Ross met his gaze firmly. "We're ready. Let's show them what happens when you attack humans." Gripping the console in the command center, Ross observed the dire glow of the screens. "The Thorn are building a super weapon aimed at obliterating Earth. Time is short," he announced to the room. "The Thorn will wipe out Earth. We destroy their weapon or die," he declared. Liam nodded heavily, burdened by the weight of the task. "The AIS are loaded with your battle plans. We're set for a frontal assault," he confirmed. The center hummed with urgent energy as volunteers stepped forward to pilot the ships, their faces showing quiet resolve against near-certain death. They clasped hands with those staying behind before boarding silently. There was no time for goodbyes. Cloaked in darkness, the fleet maneuvered through space beyond the Kuiper Belt. On feeds, they appeared as slender hope against the stars. "Signals weak. Keep communication lines open," Liam instructed, focused on the transmission bars. The Thorn construction site loomed large on screens, a network of platforms and a half-built superweapon. The volunteer fleet fanned out in tight formation and plunged into the fray. Lasers lit up, faces tightened in determination as silent strikes crisscrossed the void. Liam's fingers flew across the keyboard, commanding the AI to strike targets fast and hard, evenly amidst the chaos. In the command center, hearts clenched at each flare of light and damage report. Ross watched the feeds rigidly as loss and victory traded blows in his chest. "They're fighting like they've got nothing left to lose," he murmured. Liam kept his eyes fixed ahead. "They know Earth's survival is at stake," he observed. Pressing their advantage, the pilots moved in. Ross's strategy turned the tide as platforms collapsed and the superweapon fell silent. "Keep the pressure. Push them back," Ross urged. With Liam's precise AI commands, the fleet pierced defenses and triggered a final blinding explosion. The Thorn construction and superweapon were reduced to dust. Relief flooded in the command center, but silence acknowledged the sacrifice. Ross turned to the faces around him. "Remember their courage today," he said solemnly. "Human spirit won't break. Not today, not ever." Earth's story continued, written by sacrifice, courage, and an indomitable will. The command center went quiet, eyes locked on the screen, watching the Thorn superweapon charge up. Liam's hand hovered over the shield controls. Holding his breath, he slammed the button. The view screen flashed to outside, where the energy dome appeared around the planet. The Thorn weapon fired. The white-hot spear of death raced toward Earth. The shield lit up bright as the projectile hit, An explosion bloomed overhead, a terrifying beauty throwing northern lights across the world, while cities stood untouched below. In orbit, the volunteers launched their ships, a mix of old fighters and new, swarming the breach and defenses. Thorn guns fired wildly, disrupting the scene. Ross's fists clenched tight, knuckles white, as a comms officer approached, voice flat but strained. "Sir, casualties, but they're pushing through," the officer reported. Ross nodded once, sharp and quick, his chest tightening at the losses. Pride swelled within him. These were his people, brave souls with fire in their hearts. The command center vibrated with tension as volunteer blips went dark on screens, but more pushed on, relentless. Liam's eyes stayed locked to his screens, guiding the assault with each keystroke. "Hit them hard," he muttered, sending the order. The volunteers dove at the weapon platform, explosions tearing through metal and armor. Ross watched, heart pounding, as the structure weakened, destruction spreading inside. Then the fatal strike came, and the command center erupted in cheers as the superweapon crumbled apart. Earth stood saved by human determination again. Ross's face remained hard, but relief shone in his eyes. "Status on defenses now." His voice rang out clear and firm. Liam glanced at the code, delivering the grim news. "Not good. They wrecked the satellites and shields. Bad. How long to fix them?" Ross's voice was iron-hard as Liam's fingers danced on the console. "Weeks at least, but that's too long. I'll patch what I can," he replied. Ross nodded once, his eyes already on the defense screens. The Thorn Fleet was beaten, but the war wasn't over. "Prioritize shields and turrets," he ordered, hand on the battered grid. Liam's eyes fixed ahead, determination echoing in the room as people adjusted and prepared. On the streets, repair crews worked, shoring up defenses, while damaged cities wore their scars with pride. Liam looked at Ross, fatigue on his face but fierce determination in his eyes. "They're coming, but we're not the same Earth they attacked before." Ross met his stare resolutely. "We're ready. Let's show them what happens when you mess with humans." The Thorn ships scattered on the screens, drifting aimless and broken after Operation Starfall. Smoke from their smashed weapon platform drifted into the black, and the command room went silent as all eyes fixed on the wreckage. Ross leaned on the cold metal console, Liam standing close. "Find their leaders. We end this," Ross commanded, Liam tapping out commands to pull the last known coordinates of the Thorn command ships. "We've got friends again," Liam smiled rare. "With allies rallying, peace is within reach." Ross sent a clear message across all channels. "We'll talk, but here on Earth, our terms." Eventually, the Thorn responded, "We will come. It is time." Ross sat straight across from the Thorn envoys in the sterile negotiation room, the tense air pulsing with history. "We didn't come to gloat. We came for peace," Ross stated firmly. They went through it point by point. Prisoners, borders, all of it. Hours turned to days as Earth stood firm. "We've lost everything," the Thorn finally said. "Let us find a new way." Ross didn't hesitate. A document took form, shielding the future with each clause and sentence. The signing was quick and quiet, just pens on paper and curt nods. Ross's hands stayed steady, a tribute to the fallen with each stroke. In the corner, Liam watched in silence, a guardian of the hard-won peace. They both knew the words were now a vow. Leaving the talks, the weight of their achievements sank in. News feeds across the galaxy blazed with headlines of Earth's stand. Humanity's legends spread far and wide, told on cold nights and warm days, giving hope. Though still bearing scars, Earth's cities shone bright again. Resilient humanity had found its place among the stars, not as victim, but as vanguard. As Ross looked out across the rebuilding, he knew this was just the beginning. The crumbled city around him, once broken and jagged, now saw people crawling the streets, working together to rebuild their spirit. "Ross Taylor," someone yelled, a group walking over, all having been through the fighting. They saluted Ross as they came close. "We heard you talk. We're with you all the way," they said. Ross nodded, accepting their salute. "Keep up the good work. Each nail and brick counts." Inside a tent used for headquarters, screens lit up, faces of new allies appearing and disappearing, words of help flowing in. Ross listened closely to each call, thanking a Vega leader for their engineers' contributions and acknowledging the power generators from Andromeda. Liam entered the tent, hands dirty and carrying tech papers. "Ross, I've got teams updating the network with what we've learned," tech for peace. This time, we'll be ready to prevent a fight, not start one, he said, pointing to a patch on his shirt. A phoenix rising up, symbolizing the new Earth Corps of engineers. Earth's wounds became medals of honor. Its craters became wells of shared experience. This new time was about more than just fixing things. It was about reinventing. One day, while looking at rebuilt parts of the city, a child pulled on Ross's sleeve, holding up a simple drawing of Ross and an alien shaking hands. "Is this you? My mom said you're why we're still here," the child said. Ross knelt down, taking the drawing gently. "It's all of us together, kid. We stayed strong as one," he replied. At night, Ross and Liam sat on a roof, looking at the progress below. "You did good, Ross," Liam said, eyes on the horizon. "We did good," Ross corrected. They sat in comfortable silence, the city's heartbeat strong under them. Tomorrow promised more allies, more lessons learned. The galaxy saw Earth's next move with new respect. Memories of war left Ross. A vision of peace took over. Earth stood strong, showing what happens when you mess with humans. They rise up as one, unite, and overcome. Humanity would teach more, not through fighting, but through the spirit of its people.